go. Hey, you know, we don't have all the food out yet. There is dessert coming out, and the only thing that's standing between that dessert and you is me. So if you want to give me your attention for a little bit, I'm going to share a few words. We're going to have a toast, and we're going to cut the cake. So if you want to toast with me, you want to make sure you have a glass with you. I ran and quickly got one myself because I didn't have one, and that would be embarrassing. So don't be embarrassed with me. Grab a glass if you need a glass. If you don't know who I am, I'm Allan Robison. I've been with EXEControl Global Solutions for 35 years. Started there in 1982. Started as an entry-level programmer. Nowadays I work as the president of EXEControl Global Solutions. And so I have the honor and privilege to welcome everybody here to EXEControl Global Solutions 50th anniversary celebration. Thank you for coming. You know, none of this would have been possible if it wasn't for a gentleman named Dolph Ebling, who back in 1967 was working for General Electric. And at that time, General Electric had introduced their very first commercial computer time-sharing system, and it was one of only 4 in the entire world that was available. And so Dolph looked at that and said, geez, there's going to be an industry called computer technology. And so there was no industry really at that time, but he was just convinced there would be, and it would be big. And we all know it's big. And everybody wants to be in that field. So he quit his job, and Dolph and Sylvia committed the rest of their lives to start EXEControl Global Solutions. And you know, Dolph was always just focused on technology. And Dolph retired many years ago. But a few years back, I was at Dolph's residence in Niskayuna. We were sitting in his living room, and Dolph had said to me, we were talking for a while, he had been retired for probably about 20 years now. And so Dolph said, so, what's happened to technology? And I'm like, 20 years? Everything. It's easier to tell you what didn't happen in technology than what did. But what I did was I took out my tablet, I cracked it open, I turned it on, I took my phone out, I hooked up my mobile Wi-Fi hotspot, I got onto the internet, I pulled up Google, and in the search line I typed in Dr. Dolph Ebling and press enter, and in less than a second, up on the first page of Google was many of his patents that he had from his days at GE. This totally blew Dolph Ebling away, and his first question to me was, what algorithm are they running? I don't know if that's the first question I would ask, but that was the first question Dolph asked, and I had to humbly say, I have no clue. It's unfortunate that Dolph and Sylvia passed away a few years ago, so they're not able to be with us today. But I am pleased to announce that both Dolph and Sylvia's son, Scott Ebling, Scott, where are you? And Diane Schwartz, their daughter, are here with us today. So thank you. We appreciate you coming and celebrating with us, celebrating what Dolph and Sylvia started and the company that they worked so hard to bring to fruition. Now in 2006, we actually introduced a term called the EXEControl community. And the EXEControl community was set up as a term to reference anyone and every organization that is impacted in some way by the existence of EXEControl Global Solutions. And reality is most of you here today are probably here either because you took a wrong turn or because in some way EXEControl Global Solutions has affected your life as well. And some of those people here I'd like to just recognize, and the first group that I'd like to recognize are those that are friends, family, or spouses of existing employees. So if you're one of those, would you raise your hand?
Oh, I guess we'll
Not too many? No, come on, raise your hand. We just want to say thank you for giving us the support and the space that we need to excel at our careers. Computer technology changes so fast that it's a constant chase to stay current with what's going on. And so we greatly appreciate the support and the time that you give us to excel in that. The other group that's here as well that I appreciate is our vendors. We got several of our vendors here. If you're a vendor of EXEControl Global Solutions, would you raise your hand? Now, EXEControl is quite finicky is to the vendors that we use. And that's because we recognize that in part, our success is based upon the quality of the products and services that you provide to us. And so we thank you for providing great quality products and services and helping us to look good in front of our customers. So thank you. Also, every EXEControl gathering that we have always includes our customers. And so hopefully there's at least one customer here today. And so if you're a customer of EXEControl Global Solutions, would you raise your hands? Those also who have been customers in the past, because we got some people from the past as well. But to you, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for allowing us to be your software and technology partner. Thank you for trusting us with your systems. Your computer system is something that can, one of those few things that if it goes awry can totally destroy your company. And the fact that you allow us to touch it and keep it safe for you is an honor, so thank you. And the next group that I'm going to mention is a group that I don't think we've ever officially invited to an EXEControl gathering before, and that's our former employees. So if you're a former employee of EXEControl Global Solutions, would you raise your hand? We got a few. I'm just going to pick on a couple real quick, but first off, David right here, David Robison, he is my brother, but David's actually one that got me my job here at EXEControl. He's also my first manager here. And Walt Dick.
That's why he doesn't have hair.
Walt, where are you? Walt was in the at the desk next to me. He was my mentor when I first started here. Dave and Walt taught me everything I needed to know to be successful at the company. Thank you. Also Scott Ebling. Most people probably don't know this about Scott, but when we think about EXEControl Global Solutions, we usually think about Dolph Ebling, and rightfully so, he started it. But did you realize that Dolph Ebling worked 27 years at EXEControl Global Solutions? Scott, you actually have 29 years in with the company. So congratulations. And I was so glad to be able to invite our former employees, because at EXEControl we do things a little bit different than other companies. A lot of companies, what happens is each group comes in and out. Each group, what they want to do is destroy and get rid of everything the past group did so they can do it their way. And it's very inefficient. And so at EXEControl Global Solutions, we actually focus on trying to take what the previous group has provided us and use that as our starting point so that we can be that much further ahead of our competition, which is critical when you're in the technology field because it just is moving so fast. So thank you, former employees. I really appreciate you coming. Now, if you're an existing employee, why don't you raise your hand? And there better be some existing employees here at the company. Now, people tell you that every group that's come through EXEControl, I've always said, this is the best group. And they have been for that time. And I love this group that we have nowadays at EXEControl Global Solutions. And I'll just mention one of the things that I just really love about this group. But out of all the groups that we've had, I feel like this group has embraced taking ownership of their areas of responsibility in the company over any other group that we've had. And I personally experienced that freedom because for myself, I feel like I can actually do things without being tied down to work. And even this summer, I went traveling for 5 weeks, some business, some pleasure. But during that, I only came back a few days, but the company just continued to work. Our vendors didn't know that I was gone. Our customers didn't know that I was gone. Nobody knew that I was gone. It was really sad. But the company just ran, and I didn't get phone calls every day. And it's just nice to see people taking ownership. And it doesn't matter who's on vacation or who's in the office. The office just runs. People's problems get solved every day. And so thank you. Now I have 2 more groups, and then we'll do our toast. But this next group, I do have to give just a short story because as we went into our 50th year, we got together, the staff and I got together, and we said, how shall we celebrate 50 years of being in business? And of course, one of the first ideas was throw a party. And that was obvious, and yes, we're going to throw ourselves a party. It's a big deal. And that's what we're doing today, so thank you for coming for that. But the staff said, geez, that's kind of like us all standing here and patting ourselves on the back. And so as we discussed it, the staff said, you know, we should do something for the community because the community has supported us for 50 years. Let's do something for them. So we put together a saying that was giving back to the community through acts of service. And so what we decided to do was to volunteer at 50 events where organizations have events going on and need help, and that we would go and volunteer at those and serve for those. Now, what was interesting was this ended up in a one-page document detailing out the rules as to what counts as an event. That's what happens when you get technology people involved. But in all honesty, their concern was they were concerned it was going to be used for political gain, for marketing purposes. And they're like, we're not doing this to go publicize it so that we can get more business, and you misuse it, Allan. Since I do the marketing. But they were serious about this, so they wanted to put rules in place. And so there were rules like you had to spend so much time for it to count. You can't just go in there, slap a Band-Aid on someone's arm that just got blood taken and say, I'm done. You had to put in a set number of hours. You also couldn't just participate. So going to a road race and running that race, that's a real blessing to the people that are putting on that event, but it's not serving. So it didn't count. That's participating. Going to a fundraiser and buying a table and getting people around it, that's great. You help support that organization, but you didn't serve. You participated. So there were all these rules, and what I didn't realize was how hard it was going to be to get 50 in a year. That's like one every week. And so we started a little early, we started November 1st because we wanted to get them all done by the party here today. But boy, that was hard. Very, very hard. Could not believe how hard it was. And you know, one of the reasons why I think it was so hard wasn't just because it's 50. The other thing that they did to make it hard was that if 3 or 4 of us all went to the same event, we still only counted as one event, which made it even harder. But what really made it hard was that we realized that to volunteer meant that you had to serve, which meant you had to sacrifice. And you had to sacrifice the thing that's most important to Americans, which is time. And so we just couldn't throw money at it. We couldn't just hire people to do it for us or anything. We actually had to do it ourselves and had to sacrifice our time to do it. So what we did was we actually hit 50 on September 25th. We're concerned about that, watching it every day. We actually picked up a few more. So we passed 50, which is great. We picked up a few extras since September 25th. The guys and gals of EXEControl Global Solutions just continued to serve in that way. So anyways, what we did was we invited the organizations that we stood side by side with to come and join us today to celebrate. So some of them it's hard to find who to invite, you know, but we found as many as we could. So if you're here representing an organization where we serve alongside with you, would you please raise your hand? You know, to your group, I just want to say thank you. And I want to say thank you because we did it 50 times. That was pretty hard. But these organizations are doing it 365 days a year, every year, year after year after year, committed to making our communities a better place. And boy, I found out how hard that was. So thank you. And the last group that we're going to recognize are the people that helped make today's celebration a success. And hopefully I'll remember them all because as you can see, I'm not using notes. So it scares me a little bit. But first I'd like to thank Deborah from Mohawk River Country Club and her staff. Fabulous location, fabulous venue. Thank you, Deborah. Appreciate it. We also have Rocky over here doing caricatures. And Rocky, I love the expressions that you captured in everybody's faces up there. Check it out, I'm on the top middle. And my wife's on the left of me there, so check them out. The entire staff's up on the wall, but I'm hoping that everybody here will go and make Rocky's life a challenge because I'm paying him a lot of money to do this, so. Not enough, huh, Rocky? But anyways, get your caricatures done before you leave, please. I'd also like to thank the band, A Touch of Win-Win, who has been doing a fabulous job. And then in the center we got Mark from Mainframe Photography. I thought that was so cool. Here we are, a computer company, and we got Mainframe Technology doing the photography work. It's a little more like and Sarah Rose from Sprinklista to the cake. So, Sarah Rose is here. There she is. They're on J Street, Schenectady, so feel free to support them. And hopefully I haven't missed anyone, but Jennifer during the day is our office administrator, and night she's a mom. And somewhere in between there, she took on a new title of 50th anniversary event coordinator. So congratulations, did a great job. So as you can see, the desserts are coming out. So we're going to have a toast, we'll cut the cake, and continue to just network. So a toast to the EXEControl community. What am I going to say?
Congratulations. Happy birthday.
Yeah, a toast to the EXEControl community. I'm glad that you're all here, and I hope that all of your futures far exceed your past. Thank you.
Cheers.